Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Raul,
And Mike.
and welcome back to the AO podcast. And this is episode number 8. Now, before we get into today's episode, real quick, make sure you follow us on all of our social medias and also listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and watch us on YouTube. The links for everything is down in the description.
Mm.
Now, with that being said, we are going to be going down memory lane again for this episode, and we're actually going to be taking it all the way back to high school. But before we do that, I actually did want to talk about my Monday night because it was pretty eventful. So I ended up. So the thing was, we have a buddy of ours, Eric, that we've both known for quite some time now.
Since freshman year of high school. And we didn't start hanging out with him a lot till
Yeah,
after
high school.
and stuff.
And so I had actually made plans with him earlier on in the week, and I had asked him if he wanted to hang out that this past weekend. And the reason for that is because I haven't hung out with him in a minute, and so I just wanted to see if he was down, and he was. But the thing is, so the weekend passed, and he never hit me up. So I just kind of assumed that either he was busy or he forgot. But then, literally, on Monday night, I was chilling. I was watching a documentary, and
What was the documentary about?
it was the Quiet on Set,
The Nickelodeon
yeah.
shit.
And
Yeah.
so for those,
so you're watching that before you went out to hang out?
So listen, it's a very informative documentary, but I will warn you, if you watch it, it's definitely gonna mess up your childhood because you're not gonna be able to look at those Nickelodeon shows the same. But besides that,
Honestly, just rewatching those shows, because sometimes I know not to get sidetracked a lot. I'm gonna try to keep this simple, but like watching those shows as an adult, because those there's those 8-hour videos of like Victorious and Sam and Can and iCarly.
yeah,
So like I watch those, like if they're my cinema, like so so it's just like. And then you watch like the episodes they're talking about. You're like, this is fucking creepy as shit.
no,
Especially Victoria's.
You know what's wild? So this is the only thing I'll talk about because I don't really want to get into the documentary. But the one thing that was really disturbing about it, so they used clips from, I think, because you know how they kind of started. I think they started doing this thing when they made iCarly.
Yeah.
Because you know how like it was a web show, so they had legit actually made a website for the show that fans could go onto.
Yes.
I think they might have done the same thing with Victorious.
Yeah, the slap.
Yeah,
The slap,
because,
yeah.
Because they showed clips in the documentary of Ariana Grande when she was very young, by the way, and it's like I'm assuming it's her doing these skits for the website.
Yeah.
And they're just like very fun. Like when you
they're
look back
really
on
fucking disturbing.
Yeah, they're really disturbing.
Yeah, they're disturbing. Yeah, in one of the videos I saw in Victoria's, they had like a whole section like hours long of just dedicated to like just show like analyzing the slap, and before they even got into that section, like they're like the Quincy reviews, he was like, listen, this is some really 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 nasty shit right here. Like the fact that he had to preface that and to go into that is like, ugh. I like it is like looking back at some of those shows, especially the live action sitcoms, like it's they're dated as shit.
You know what's
dated like milk.
What's the only one question that I kind of have after watching that? Well, I have like a few, but the main one is the main one. Before I get out, because like I said, I didn't want to get into the documentary. But the only thing, since I already mentioned the Ariana Grande thing, I guess I might as well just put this out there. I don't know exactly what her deal is because, of course, we know that since her time on Nickelodeon, she's obviously blown up and became this major star. But to my knowledge, I don't think she has ever addressed any of these allegations or situations that happened during her time on Nickelodeon.
They're probably hard to talk about.
Yeah, but well, the thing is, though, I wonder if it's that she just doesn't want to, or if she like maybe signed something that says that she can't,
like a non-disclosure agreement and all that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it happens to a lot of them and all that. Especially, I know this is a different network, but Hannah Montana has some really gross stuff in it too. Like I don't know what was wrong with like the later 2000s type of, and just like nasty shit in sitcoms from all over the place, from recently to like way back in the day. But like something about it just being in a kid show and like that type of behavior happening on a set full of kids. You know,
it was just listen. It's a. I will say I would
Yeah.
recommend the documentary just because I thought it was very. It
Informative.
it opened your eyes to a lot of stuff that was happening like that was going on backstage
Mm-hmm.
with these shows. So I do recommend it, but just be warned, your childhood is going to be ruined.
Yeah, but that was what you were watching
Yeah, so
before
that was
Eric
yeah, and then
hit
so
you
Eric
up.
hits me up
Crazy.
on Monday night. Yeah, freaking white dude. So, like I said, I'm watching the documentary. I think it was around 7 p.m. And he just randomly hits me up, and he's like, "Hey man, like, are you down to chill?" You know, he's like, "Hey yo, are you down to chill tonight?" He's like, "I just got off work," and so I was like, "Oh shit."
Yeah, you have nothing to do.
And so I was like, "Fuck you." And so I was, can't you see? I was watching a very fucking fucked up, informative documentary. I had shit to do, but listen. So, anyways, he hit me up, and I was like, "Yeah, you know, whatever. Like, I'm down." And so we picks me up like at around 8. And the cool part is, shout out to the homie. So he actually just recently got his very first car, and it happens to be a Tesla. Well, not his first. His technically his second car, but whatever. Like his first brand new car. I mean.
Yeah.
But he got a Tesla, and so it was really sick. It literally, I'm not gonna lie. When he first picked me up, he had to come out, like he had to get out of his car because he had to explain to me how the door handles on the Tesla work. Because it's weird. It's not like it's not like your standard car, right, where you just have the door handle that you just push. You literally, it's like flat. It's a flat surface, and what you do is you have to, with your thumb, you have to like push the end of it in, and then on the other side, the lever like will pop out, and then you have to grab it and open the door that way.
That's too much.
Yeah, and also like I was high, so that didn't help.
Yeah, so it's just like thumb, and you're like, no.
And so,
how long did it take you to learn?
Like probably like 5 minutes. But so then we did it, and then we get into the car and we start driving because at first we're just gonna chill and smoke.
Yeah.
And so funny enough, he's like, "Oh, I know this dope spot where we can smoke at," because they have superchargers there to like charge the Teslas.
Yeah.
And the funniest shit happened. So we're driving to the spot that he's like telling me about, and I'm explaining to him. I was like, I forgot how it came up, but I started talking to him about how on Tuesdays and Thursdays I go to the gym with our homies Rob and Luis, and I was explaining to him that in the little plaza where the gym's located, they have a bakery like right across from it.
Yeah.
And we've been there a few times like after the gym, and
as you do.
Yeah, and it's pretty fucking bomb, I'm not gonna lie. But so I'm explaining that to him, and as I'm getting towards the end of the story, we finally got to the place and we're parking. And as I'm done finishing the story, I like look around like outside of my side of the window, and I see a sign, a neon sign, and I was like, wait a minute, is that? And I realized we're in the fucking plaza to the gym that I was just talking about.
Oh my god! So you're like, wait, this place looks really, really familiar. I don't think I've ever been here. And then you realize this is where you pump, and then right after get donuts to digress your progress.
Listen, I earned that fucking donut that day.
You work at, that's always a good reason to work out, is to. He's like, oh, I want to eat more, so I just got to work it off and to eat more. I love
it's
that
crazy
shit.
how much, not to get sidetracked because I really don't want to, but it's crazy how your diet and everything changes as you get older. Because one of the major things for me that I noticed is that I can't really eat sugar like that anymore.
We didn't did we talk about this the last podcast where like you were? Oh no, we talked about at the store. First of all, we went to the store together. It took like 40 minutes.
Oh yeah, we went. So after in the last episode, after the recording of the last episode, we ended up going to Stater Brothers because I had to do some shopping, and we had pre-gamed before, because that's usually what we do. We pre-game before we start recording.
Yeah.
And so after that, we decided to go to Stater Brothers, and We legit did spend like a little under an hour in
Well,
there.
I think you still actually. I remember you using, "Hey, I'm gonna go smoke before we leave," and I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" He was like, "You getting groceries?"
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I did
you
do
smoke
that.
because like I had to drive, so like I was already sober by the I was just tired. I was already sober by the time we left, but like you smoked more, so like you were just chilling with the cart, and like you had to get like 5 different spices, so we went to like the spice
Oh,
section.
and were you trying to fucking make me go bankrupt over some fucking spices, dude? What the fuck?
I was just like, okay, you need like paprika, whatever the fuck else, and
And he's
then
just like, and you're just tossing them in the cart, right?
yeah, I'm like, this looks cool and all that. Sorry for the noise. I don't even know what's happening outside, but like, I was like, okay, he needs this, and not realizing I'm not looking at the price. I'm looking at the other ones on the side. It was like, oh, that's like $1.30. Well, how much are these? And I look up these fucking spices are like $9 to $10.
This
And I'm like,
motherfucker
I
was trying to
almost
get. I almost, if I would have fucking taken those spices, I
if
would have legit paid around fucking like 50 or $60 for
for
fucking
just
spices.
5 spices. And I was like, oh shit, these cost more, and you weren't paying attention. You
No,
were
I
fucking.
would have fucking, I would have just been like, what the fuck? How the fuck is this like over $100?
And I'm like, damn, you gotta save up a bit. You like food's expensive.
I like fucking inflation, man. They affected spices.
They really. I mean, those spices. Would it make a difference? Would you ever try those spices? The expensive spices?
If I fucking had money, yeah.
Just not now.
No, these are not regular people spices. This is.
Yeah, and you were looking for like the Takis, the certain Takis up there.
Oh no, yeah, but. By the way, so Taki's just recently released a new flavor, which is I forgot the actual name of it, but it's something ranch.
Yeah, it's like Cool Ranch. Imagine Doritos Cool Ranch, but
No, but here's the thing. So
Takis.
it's basically like that. It's like a Cool Ranch Dorito, but honestly, in my personal opinion, the one thing that I don't really like about the Cool Ranch Doritos is that I feel like they add a little bit too much seasoning.
Oh,
Where,
that's the best part.
well, I don't know. I just feel like it's a little too strong sometimes in them. And then with the thing that I really liked about the Takis is that seasoning is like a little bit more subtle, so you can eat like way more of them.
Yeah.
But so we're getting fucking sidetracked. But so anyways, we spent 40 minutes at Stater Brothers.
Uh-huh.
So he picks me up and we park and we smoke, and then his brother hits him up, and I guess his brother was he was, I don't know if they were dating or if he was going on a date with this girl, but he had a date. And so he wanted to meet up with us because they wanted to go to this place that's by this mall that we have here, where they have like arcades, they have a bowling alley,
yeah.
they have now I think they even added karaoke rooms.
Yes.
So we wanted to go there, and so we're like, oh yeah, for sure. Like, he asked me if I was down to go, and I was like, yeah, like to be honest, the only thing that I was worried was to get something to eat because I hadn't eaten dinner yet.
Yeah.
So luckily around that area there is also a Buffalo Wild Wings. And
you love your wings.
Yeah, and so it's literally been forever since I've been to Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, like fuck it, let's just go to Buffalo Wild Wings. And so it was funny because we pick up Eric's brother, and I guess he's moving somewhere soon. And so he was like taking all this stuff and he was packing it into Eric's Tesla. And Eric was getting subtly annoyed because he just kept bringing more stuff and like it already didn't fit.
So he's just bringing in more stuff.
Yeah, but then it gets fucking funny because so we pack they pack the Tesla up, and then Eric tells me that he's like, yeah, I don't even know why he's putting them in here because he's gonna come back here tomorrow. So there was literally no need to put this stuff in there.
Yeah, he just wanted to.
Yeah, he just wanted, and then later on when we were driving, his brother's like, oh, I just wanted to take him for the trip. And so we were going, and then they also got into another miscommunication about how Eric wanted to order Buffalo Wild Wings online.
Yeah.
So that way, by the time we got there, our order would be ready.
Yeah.
So that way we can, because he just wanted to like eat in the parking lot, and then we would go into that other place to go into the arcades and bowling and everything.
Yeah.
So, but there was a miscommunication where I guess his brother thought that, I don't know exactly what he thought, but he wasn't thinking what Eric was thinking, and so they didn't end up ordering it. And by the time, and they're having this debate the whole time that we're driving over there, and by the time that they're like, all right, so should we order? Should we not? We're like, oh shit, we're already fucking here. So
we're like, oh, should we like?
So
instead of like using that time to like order the food
yeah,
that we get here, you just argued
about whether or not if we should order the food.
And then you got there, it was like too late.
Yeah, so fuck, we're already here.
It's like a Seinfeld episode.
Yeah, so fuck it, let's just go in. And so we parked, and first of all, it looked empty as shit. Like, we didn't know if it was fucking even open. But and so
was it open?
Yeah, luckily it was.
Okay.
So we went in, and then like when we got out, that's when the girl that came with Eric's brother met up with us.
Yeah.
And she was pretty cool. I don't remember her name, but so we get there and we sit down, we order, and me and Eric ordered 20 boneless wings with some fries, and we actually tried. Well, we tried 2 new flavors that they have that were pretty interesting flavors. They had, one of them was honey garlic. Yeah. And the other one was orange chicken. So I'm the one that got the orange chicken because I was like, oh, that sounds pretty interesting. Yeah. And then Eric got the honey garlic because that was actually a new flavor that they had. So we got it before we got the food. Me and Eric ordered 2 blue Hawaiians that were pretty good. And then the food finally gets there and we try it. And after we're done eating, Eric asked me, he's like, hey man, so what'd you think of your orange chicken wings? And I was like, I'm not gonna lie, I think I liked your honey garlic a little more. And then then Eric tells me, he's like, no way, because I fucking like the orange chicken more. So both of us liked each other's flavor. So after that, we pay, and then we go to the place, and Eric's brother and the girl that was with him, they wanted to go bowling, but me and Eric just wanted to hit up the arcade. Yeah. So Eric buys the little card that you need to swipe and play the arcade games. Yeah. So we get it, and we're walking around just seeing like what we want to play, and we see they have this giant arcade booth set up, and it's a first person shooter. But it's Halo. Yeah. And so we get in there and like we're playing.
Wait.
What?
You just said it's a first person shooter in Halo. Halo has like always been like a first person shooter.
No,
but it's like a
no, but I mean it has a whole setup.
Yeah, it has a whole setup.
It has the guns that you can hold on to and aim at the screen.
Yeah, it's like a gun arcade game.
Yeah,
but with Halo.
Yeah, because I had never seen that, because I had seen it with other games, but I never knew that they made a Halo version of it. Yeah. So we were playing that, and after we were done, because Eric he was trying to slide back in, but it wasn't fucking letting him. And so
sometimes they be wonky, man. Yeah, those arcade machines,
and it'll get worse. It'll get worse. And so he kept swiping it because he had died, and so he kept swiping it, trying to revive himself, but it wasn't fucking working. And so he's like, "Hey man, just hold it down. You gotta hold it down." So I was like trying not to die, and then I finally died, and then so that's when we left.
He's like just there swiping,
and so. We finished that game up, and then we found this giant pinball machine. Yeah. And it was funny because for the first couple of seconds that we started playing it, because I didn't even realize that, so Eric was standing on one side and I was standing on the other side of the machine. Yeah. And I thought it was like 2 separate machines. But I didn't realize that it was all one thing and it was just a giant board. Yeah. So Eric starts the thing, and I didn't even realize that I was playing against him. And so I just start smashing the fucking buttons, and I have no idea what's fucking going on until after the game's over, and Eric's like, I think I won.
You didn't even know you were playing against him. Oh my god.
Yeah, and so we do that, and we do that, and we
Mm-hmm.
start walking around the arcade again,
Mm-hmm.
and we find this weird uh, anime style game
Yeah.
that has like a giant wheel and it's touchscreen. I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know what.
Oh, it's like a music rhythm type
I
game, or
think
like
so. I don't know what.
I remember. I know what you're talking about because I've been to the place you're talking about. But like I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so like I was what the like I was trying to figure out what the fuck like how do you even play this game?
And also, these machines come straight from where the game and where it came from, like Japan, all that. So like the instructions are like in Japanese and all
Yeah,
that. It's
and
just
so
like,
I was
what the hell?
no, but here's where it gets funny. So remember how I had mentioned a little bit ago that Eric had died when we were playing the Halo game.
Yeah.
And he was trying to swipe the thing and it wasn't
Mhm.
working. And again, he wanted to check this game out, and so he swiped, and it wasn't fucking like
Oh
it said
my
it was
God.
maxed out or something.
Maxed
And then
out.
we
How do
go
you?
and we try to play a racing game, and it doesn't fucking work either. And so Eric paid for like a whole hour to be in the arcade, and we only were able to play 2 fucking games. And then so afterwards, it's like fuck it. Let's
You should just went bowling.
so, and then so Eric was like, fuck it. Let's just go to the car and smoke. So,
All defeated.
yeah.
To go. You
So
know, it's
we-
funny because oh my god, that's fucking funny.
So we go back to the car, right? And Eric's big on smoking dabs.
Uh-huh. Oh, he's
Yeah.
a dabber.
Yeah, and so he has a thing called. Did you just fucking dab? I sort of fucking got Michael.
You just gotta check the footage. You just
No,
gotta-
I saw your fucking hand, stupid.
No, you didn't. Don't gaslight you again.
So anyway, since Eric is a dabber, I'm trying to make it easy. It's not easy. So, God damn, are you alright over there?
It's something. It was the little beat where it's just like the breath and like the pressure paused. And I'm like, wait, what's coming out? Go on. He's a dabber.
Yeah, so he's a dabber, and so he has this. It's a pretty well known dab rig in the weed community. It's called a Puffco, and he has the Puffco Pro, which is like a more elevated version of the original one.
Yeah. That's nuts.
But it's insane because it's a mini rig. It can't be more than this big, so you can hold it in the palm of your hands, and it's made out of like aluminum and I think glass, and it works the way so instead of being a whole glass rig where you have to heat up the bottom and you have to drop the dab in there and swirl it around.
Yeah.
This one comes with an atomizer where you just drop the dab in and it'll automatically start heating up, and it has a small glass piece that acts as a mouthpiece. So you take a hit, like kind of as if you're hitting a bomb.
Mm.
And let me tell you, dude. So,
Oh, did you take the dab?
yeah. So we were chilling, and we were just listening to music in the Tesla. And he pulls out the rig because I had wanted to try it, because I remember the last time that I had hung out with him, he actually had offered and asked me if I wanted to try it, but at the time I just wasn't down because we had already smoked.
Yeah.
So I was already pretty high. And so I was like, fuck it, I'll try it this time. And he pulls it out, and at first, because it has 3 temperature settings,
Yeah.
and so there's a low one, a medium, and then a high. The high one is the high dab hits will fuck you up. Or
Just dab
I
hits.
mean,
Dab hits in general
I
will
mean,
fuck
not
you up.
high. I mean, like hot dab hits
Yeah.
will fuck you up. And so at first, I told him to start off on the lowest, just because I wanted to get a sense of what it was like. And so I tried it. Took maybe 2 hits off of it, and I really enjoyed it. You could really taste the flavor because we were smoking on a strain called Banana OG. And
So you taste the nanner?
and yeah, and so it was very, very delicious. But then I wasn't really feeling anything yet, so I told him I was like, "Fuck it, crank it up to the medium setting."
Mm-hmm.
And so he did that. He loaded it up again with another dab, and then he heated it up to the medium setting. And I took some other hits. And the thing that's crazy about this device and why it is so highly regarded is because when you take those hits, now to be fair, I haven't tried it on the hottest temperature, so I don't know if this will change if you do it on the hottest temperature, but even on the medium temperature, the hit that I took was so fucking smooth. There was literally no coughing whatsoever after on my end. So I was amazed. This is incredible. And so
Eureka.
We were going back and forth taking hits between each other. And after we were done with that, I'm just sitting there and I'm thinking, I was like, that was really good, but I'm also not really feeling it, so I'm still thinking to myself, I'm good. Well, then Eric and then you fucking hit me up when you saw my story because you thought that I had done this, but it was actually Eric. So for those of you who don't know, if you've never been inside a Tesla, it has a really big ass widescreen in the center console, and that's essentially where you literally control everything inside the car, just the car in general. That's where you control everything. But the cool part is because it's also a giant ass screen, you can also go on YouTube.
Yeah,
and
you can watch like Disney Plus on that shit.
Yeah, and so Eric goes on YouTube and he randomly asked me like, "Hey, what's the name of the podcast?" And I tell him, and he fucking looks it up
and puts it.
Yeah, and
you said you put episode. He put episode 2, right?
Episode 2, which is probably the greatest episode we've done so far.
Oh my god, that episode is pretty fucking funny. Yeah. It's
if
wild.
You guys have not, if you're new to this and you have not seen the second episode, I highly recommend you watch it. Man. But anyway, so he puts it on, and so I take a picture for my Instagram stories, and this motherfucker hits me up like the next day, and he's like, what did you say? You said
I fucking hate you.
Yeah,
with laughing emojis.
Yeah,
so he would know that I don't hate him.
Yeah, and I was.
But I kind of do sometimes. Shut
the fuck up! I love fucking hate you. You.
You go drink some water, then spit some facts instead of liquids.
That was stupid. You literally asked me to explain a fucking sombrero in the last episode, dude.
Well, yeah, but I didn't expect you to be to do it, but then you came in with that fucking hella funny ass joke.
So as we're sitting there watching the fucking podcast, which is insane, by the way.
Yeah, in a Tesla.
Just to think
with the homie.
Just to think that thought, I'm sitting in a Tesla with my homie high as fuck, and I'm watching my own podcast on the fucking screen.
I was gonna say it's so romantic.
Why you gotta go and ruin shit, Mike? You see, this is what I'm talking about, dude. Eric's gonna be like, "What the fuck?"
Eric's gonna be like, "It's true." Shut up.
You're stupid, dude.
You was trying to hit that.
I fucking hate you, man.
Shout out to Eric.
Yeah, shout out to Eric. But anyway, so as we're sitting there and watching the podcast, maybe 5 or 10 minutes into the episode, I start to realize how fucking high I actually am. Because again, like I said...
because you took multiple dabs.
Yeah, and the thing too, though, like I mentioned, it was super smooth. So I didn't have any coughing after, so I didn't realize how hard it was going to hit me because since they were super smooth hits, I was like, all right, this is cool. I can do this and I can keep taking hits.
You felt confident.
Yeah, because I'm not going to cough. And so, but that's the dangerous part about it is because it's so smooth. Yeah. You don't know exactly how big of a hit you're actually fucking taking. Yeah. So I start to fucking feel it immediately. So I'm just kind of sitting back in this seat and I'm trying not to freak the fuck out. Yeah. But luckily, so it only lasted for maybe, I want to say about 20 to 30 minutes. Yeah. And then after I started to come down little by little. So,
and it's great when you come down after a really panicky high. Yeah. When you beat that threshold. Because I remember telling you about one time I took an edible, but I was like I want to take, whenever I take a 10 milligram edible, I'm like, I don't feel it. But if you take even just another half, that shit really like fucking fucks you up. The math, like I don't know what the fucking math
Oh wait,
is,
you
but
took?
like yeah.
You said you took one and then
I took one. I took one edible. I'm like, and I've done just the one edible. So he's like, oh, this I don't really feel it this time. I'm just gonna take another half, just half a gummy. And I took the half. I'm like, oh wow.
That's happened to me on more than one occasion, dude.
Like it's just like, oh now I feel cold.
No,
I'm shaky.
No, you know what? You know what fucked me up?
Yeah.
You've tried some of the infused drinks that I've gotten, right?
Yes, I've tried them. I haven't drank them all, but like I haven't drank like a whole can or something. But I've tried them.
So I remember a while back I had bought two, and they were from different companies.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to see which one tasted better, and both each can was 10 milligrams each.
Yes.
So this particular night I was feeling a little ballsy, so I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna drink both of them.
So how'd that go?
So I drank both of them, and I was like, I definitely went into that panic high mode. But like you said, because you essentially, like, all you can really do when you're in that moment is just basically ride it out.
Yeah, really and it gets bumpy. That ride is fucking bumpy as hell.
But you honestly don't really have any other choice.
Yeah. Like, if you panic more, you're just going to do yourself, like, I wouldn't say mental damage, but, like you're going to make yourself really paranoid really fast, especially since you're in that high. You can't, like, think fucking straight at all, so.
Yeah, but once you beat that threshold, it is pretty dope.
It's pretty lit.
And so...
It's like a very tense video game. It's like, he was like, oh, wild? It's fucking, like, this is hard as hell. I'm getting mad at the boss. And then when you beat the boss, and then
you know what's wild? Hell
yeah.
I just fucking realized if you were to cut that whole part out in the beginning where we talk about how this is related to like weed edibles, you could take that whole explanation that we just gave about beating that threshold of being high, and somebody could apply it to like fucking heroin or something. Like, we sounded like fucking drug addicts.
You had to take it there. What the fuck? When I was just being funny and dumb earlier. You gotta be like, wait, what if someone did this? But like,
I didn't say do it. I mean, it sounded like out of context. It would sound that we were talking about doing.
Or it could have been motivational, like, oh, like this part of your life is hard, but if you get through it, you'll be better. But no, you have to talk about fucking heroin. High. Life could give you a high sometimes. You know, it's like you be blessed and shit.
Wait. Did you just say? Yeah, highs can give you.
No, life could be.
Oh, I was.
Yeah, don't gaslight me. I'm here to gaslight you. How dare you try to gaslight me?
That would be fucking incredible.
Don't try to gaslight me. Spread loose.
No, but fuck you. But we're getting fucking sidetracked.
We keep doing this.
Yes, we gotta fucking reel it in.
It's your fault.
No, it's your fault. You did it first.
I did do it.
Okay, so.
But Eric, it high as fuck with Eric in his car.
Yeah, and
looking a little gay.
I finally break through that threshold, and after it was pretty lit, and so Eric just wanted to take off.
Yeah.
After that, and so we did, and
were you still feeling it when you got home?
No. By the time he dropped me off at my house, I was already pretty chill. And also, here's the thing that I really like about just having random weed stuff around. So I had bought this vaporizer a while back, and it was for dabs, and I had used it maybe 2 or 3 times at most.
Yeah.
And after that, it was literally just sitting in one of my drawers in my room. And so, since I knew that Eric is a dabber, I was basically like, "Fuck it, do you want this?" And he was, yeah, for sure. And so I gave it to him. So that was pretty cool. He was really fucking happy.
Yeah, like Santa Claus.
Yeah. He did say it felt like Christmas. But so,
I'm glad we both made that connection.
Yeah, and so he took it, and then we took off, and then until I hang out with him again. But I just wanted to mention that because that was a really spontaneous, like, and, oh no, I wanted to mention it because that's, anytime that I've ever hung out with Eric, it's always been super spontaneous.
And super lit.
Yeah, and so this was just another one of those instances where he just hit me out. He hit me up randomly, and we just had a really fun ass night.
Yeah.
But anyways,
and he always does that. He will hit you up spontaneously and be like, "Hey, want to go check some tits out?" And you're like, "Yeah."
But so anyway, so shout out to the homie Eric. I can't wait to hang out with him again. But now moving on to just a few things I wanted to talk about before we actually get into the high school stories. So I recently went down another YouTube rabbit hole, and it's with
we all usually do.
Yeah, and it's with a particular channel this time, and it's a really popular channel. I want to say, if I'm not mistaken, I think he has maybe over 2 million subscribers. And I don't know if you know this channel, but it's a YouTuber that goes by the name of Nick Crowley.
I think I do.
Some of his more popular videos are he has a whole series on his channel called I think it's called Disturbing Moments Caught on Live TV.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and so it's essentially what he does in these videos is he
just talks about disturbing shit.
Yeah, he goes through events that happened that were captured on live TV.
Yeah.
And he gives you the backstory behind the video.
Yeah.
And I've just been fucking fascinated since I discovered his channel randomly.
Yeah.
And I've just been going down this rabbit hole.
You got mouth on camera.
Yeah, so I've been going through. I'm probably gonna have to cut that out because I don't think we can talk about that.
You're like, oh, we went on this channel. We still were like, whoa, crazy.
I'm gonna fucking have to edit that shit out too, bitch. Shut up. We can't fucking say that shit.
All right, if there's a jump cut right here, our bad. We'll just go straight to the fucking.
If you're wondering right now why there was a random cut, because Michael said some really dumb shit that
Raul started it.
I didn't fucking say anything, Mike. You're the one that said the banned words.
Oh, or you could just put the censor bar right there.
No, I don't fucking know what I'll see when I edit it.
You'll see. You'll figure it.
Yeah, but anyways, so
we'll get the practice in first.
Yeah, so we went down. I went down this whole rabbit hole of his channel, just binging his videos because he has the live moments caught on TV one.
Yeah.
But he also has ones that are related to YouTube.
Yeah.
And YouTubers. And that one I found a little bit more interesting because those are way more obscure. And sometimes
YouTubers.
Yeah, sometimes he finds
dark
channels,
YouTube videos are crazy.
Yeah, sometimes he finds channels that were not popular at all. But when you find out the backstory behind the people who channel,
it's really messed up shit.
Yeah, and
I know a lot of the things you talk about too because I'm a sick individual. Like, that's some nutty. It's like the slap, It's like except this is like way more fucking disturbing and all that stuff, You're basically like YouTube is like the slap. And you're like a big fan of Victorious.
Did you just really compare dark fucking, like, evil fucking videos to a Nickelodeon?
The slap, bro. It's the slap.
I mean, to be fair, the videos that they put on there were
the slap is nuts,
But anyways, listen. I'm not fucking doing this again. So, anyways, I've just been binging those videos on his channel, and there's two in particular that I want, because I think you guys should go check him out, especially if you're interested in that kind of stuff. Again, his YouTube, he goes by the name of Nick Crowley.
You got that morbid, morbid curiosity.
Yeah. It's essentially akin to what I mentioned in the previous episodes of that Twitter page that I follow called Morbid Knowledge.
Yeah.
Kind of in that same vein. But anyways, so there were two particular videos that he did that I wanted to talk about because I thought they were fucking nuts. One of them actually happened in Brazil. Now I want to put a disclaimer. I don't really remember all the facts, and I didn't write them down. So I'm just gonna go off memory of what I remember from the video. Um, but essentially, what the situation was, I think it was either, this happened either in the late 90s or early 2000s in Brazil. Um, and so the story goes, it was this, I think she was either a teenager or a preteen. It was this young girl who lived in this city in Brazil. And she was going back home one day after school, and she was with her best friend and two guy friends, and they went back to her apartment building, and they got to her apartment and they went inside and everything was chill. But then a little bit later they started to hear these noises coming from the front door, and so they went to go see what it was, and by the time they got to the door got broken into, and they were met with a man pointing a weapon at them.
Mm-hmm.
And surprisingly, this wasn't just a random occurrence, because the dude who was holding a weapon to them, the girl who lived in that apartment actually knew him, because when she was 12 and he was 19, they started dating, which gross, by the way. But so they started dating, and I think they dated for maybe, I want to say, I think they said around 2 years, and she ended up breaking up with him because he was known to have a really bad temper. Um, so this was the man that was pointing a weapon at her and her friends in her apartment, and so he ordered them to get on the bed and to not move, and he locked the door, and it quickly turned into a hostage situation. And so obviously police came, and then as the hours started going away where they were trying to negotiate with him, it started to become a really big story in the area. So a lot of Brazilian news outlets started reporting on the story. And the even crazier part is, since they had a TV in the apartment, the the guy who was holding the hostage had turned on the news and had seen how big the story was actually getting. So he was literally watching himself on the news, as this was going on.
Yeah.
And so the first crazy part of the story is that because of that element, because there were so many news outlets covering the story and they had cameras everywhere surrounding the apartment, and because he was able to watch the news, it made it really difficult for police to try to come up with a strategy to try to break into the apartment, because he could literally see their every move from the TV. Yeah. So whenever they tried to do something, he would just adjust to a point where they weren't going to be able to do that. So a crazy situation already. And then again, as the hours go on, it's starting to become an even bigger story, to the point where you have locals in the area even showing up to watch it, like this situation unfold live.
Yeah.
But then this is where it gets grimy. So because it was becoming such a ratings hit, some news reporters on these news outlets took it upon themselves to figure out the number for the phone in that apartment, and they actually called it, and the guy who was holding everyone captive answered, and they legit were fucking interviewing this guy live as he has fucking people held captive. And it was wild because there were some reporters that even took it a step further, where they themselves tried to act as fucking negotiators for him to let those people go
for the clicks, for the views.
Yeah, and so luckily, I think from the actual negotiators, they were eventually able to talk him to. They were able to talk him into letting the two boys go, and then afterwards they let the girl's best friend go. So it was just her and him stuck in the apartment now. And this actually broke a record because as it got to its, I believe, 14th hour of the standoff, it immediately became the biggest hostage situation ever in Brazil.
Mm-hmm. Like the most popular.
Yeah, no, like the longest.
Oh, the longest. Okay.
Yeah. And so they're trying to figure out what to do because, again, because he's watching himself on the news, it's making it really difficult for police to try to figure out a way to storm the apartment. Mm-hmm. And so they come up with a strategy. And so, because one of the demands that this guy had made, which were very erratic, he would go from points of either agreeing with the negotiators were telling him to just completely ignoring what they were saying. But they managed to talk him into letting the girl go, but on the condition that her father and her best friend would have to come to grab her as they all came out together. And this was actually very strategic on his part because the reason that he was doing that is because when he stepped out of that apartment, if he was surrounded by 3 people on all sides, the police wouldn't be able to shoot him. Mm-hmm. So that was his thought process.
His tactic.
Yeah. So, mind you, the police got in contact with the best friend who the day before had literally just gotten to escape from the situation. And they're like, hey, so you think you can come back here and help us deal with this situation?
Yeah.
And so she, I'm pretty sure she agreed because she wanted to save her friend.
Yeah.
So she did. But as they were getting ready to go through with the exchange, he changed his mind and then said that he only wanted the friend to come up and not the dad. And so the fucking police decided to give in to his demands.
Yeah.
And they let that fucking little girl go up there by herself to that same apartment.
Yeah, as the police do.
Where he unfortunately grabbed her and fucking took her as a hostage again. And so now it's both girls back in the apartment again. But this time, the police were actually now starting to finally close in. And here's where it gets a little murky because you have the police's side of it, and then you have another side of it that I'll get into later. But according to the police, they decided to finally break in the door after they heard him fire a shot out of the door.
Yeah.
And so what ended up happening when they did that, they broke through the door. There was a giant smoke thing went off, and they heard 3 shots fired after that. Mm-hmm. And what ended up happening is that one shot managed to strike the girl's friend in the face. Mm-hmm. And so it's really disturbing because in the thing you literally see, because again, like I said, there was a whole bunch of news outlets covering the story. So when that moment happened, it was captured on live TV. And you literally see the girl walk out, like, holding her face. Yeah. And she just, like, legit collapses into one of the officer's arms. It's really disturbing to see. And then later on, you see the other girl who was the main target of this dude get carried out in a stretcher because she was shot, I think, in the chest.
Yeah.
And here's how fucking grimy these reporters were, man. As they're loading her up into the ambulance and legit trying to save her life, these fucking reporters are, like, legit trying to fucking stick their cameras into the window of the ambulance.
Yeah, the ambulance, yeah. All up into these personal
and so
private spaces.
The unfortunate part of the story is that the main girl who was in the ambulance later on would lose her life in the hospital. But miraculously, her friend who got shot in the face
was able to survive.
Survived.
Oh,
and good. Then that's when she gave her recount. And according to her, what had actually happened is that the police broke into the door first, and that's when the guy shot. And so...
Oh.
So...
This is like a fucked up police job.
Yeah, then. So there was a lot of a lot of shit, a lot of criticism that went on with the police who were handling that situation afterwards.
Yeah.
But here's the really messed up part. None of the reporters who were the ones trying to get in or who got in contact with that guy, they never faced any sort of charges or anything for
Yeah, no, because, like, that, for them, that's just doing their job, like, the paparazzi, like, to get, like, the first, like, ones to get the headline and the exclusive stuff, you know, it's not. Not only is that whole hostage situation just effed up, just from the jump, from the beginning from the beginning when the hostage starts to the backstory of, like, the relation to the hostage and the person holding them. Yeah. But it's also, like, not only a mismanagement of, like, how police approach these things, but also, like, the sneakiness and the griminess of the paparazzi themselves. And it happens all over the world, but, you know, we know it more of, like, trying to get into, you know, like, from, like, the news outlets of, like, what's the first story. It was like, how can we get the juiciest stories first? And
yeah,
I think we don't have time for the high school stories.
Wait, how long are we
It's 54 minutes.
Yeah, we can do it.
And, like, because I feel like these stories are a little long.
Well, I'll just share one then. Well, I feel like we can get it in though. So right. I'll fuck it. So I was gonna give another example, but fuck it, just go find his channel. Again, that's Nick Crowley. Mm-hmm. Very, very interesting shit. So now we'll hop into the high school story times.
Yeah, because I think we'll be able to share at least one, but, like, the one I remembered earlier when we were both in the Spanish class and we were put in.
Okay, it was so you started off.
It was the summer between freshman and sophomore, or was it sophomore to junior?
I think it might have been sophomore to junior.
Sophomore to junior year, we were taking, like, a Spanish summer class, and there's tons of stories in that because that shit was actually fun. But, like, one of the last parts of the semester we did was, like, we were put into 4 groups.
Yeah, we were put into a group of 4, and we had to come up with
a group name to represent us. It was me, you, and Manuel and Kevin.
Yeah.
Who I look back and that's actually, like, such a fun time with being in the group with those 4 because there was a lot of things in that group that was really funny that we did.
Yeah.
But, like, we came up and it was like, all right, let's just you know,
so
I want to say what, like, the mascot we chose is like, okay, we came up with the idea of us being Los Conchas, you know, concha, sweetbread.
Yeah, Mexican for those of you who don't know, it's a very popular Mexican sweetbread. Mm-hmm. Chances are you've seen it at a Mexican bakery. I fucking love those things.
Yeah, amazing. Some of the best things ever made, honestly. But, like, it was like, okay. So, like, I was in charge of, like, outlining it and, like, when we were all coloring it, you know, but to my knowledge, I don't remember, you know, I was spelling it, not realizing I spelled it wrong until we all colored it in.
So we make the sign, right?
Yeah.
And we put it up on, because we had to put it
up. Yeah, we had to put up for all the class to see, to, like, oh, this is their group, Los Conchas.
Yeah, like, and so we're confident, right? We're like, oh, we're Las Conchas.
Yeah, that poster, looking back at that poster was nice, too.
Yeah,
we made, like, a very nice paper poster.
So we're all, like, confident in shit, right? We're like, this is a dope-ass team name, right? Mm-hmm. And the teacher that we had at the time, she looks at the poster, and she's
like, oh, so you guys are Los Chonchas?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, and everybody in our group was like, no way, nobody caught that. Not only that, did I really spell Conchas wrong?
So we look back at the poster and we fucking realized it's Chonchas. Los Chonchas. And but then it gets fucking. This story even manages to get better as time went on because.
And only that, everybody was laughing when we presented that too. It was like we're little chonchas, and everybody was just fucking dying.
And but so because this whole time, I had always assumed that it was just a funny word that we had misspelled.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until I got a little bit older that I fucking realized that that's actually a Mexican slang for pussy.
For vagina. Yeah, so our group was just the pussies. And just a concha right on top of it. And I'm just like, no, the poster was like perfect. How would I misspell it? How did nobody catch it when we were all coloring the fucking thing in? Like I misspelled the shit out of that.
Oh, this is gonna be the real for Instagram.
Oh my god, we're just Los Chonchas for like 2 weeks. For the final 2 weeks of this, it was amazingly funny. It's such like a simple fuck up, but like the drastic, like I wouldn't say consequence, but like the outcome came of like not only did we realize, first of all, these people can fucking spell. Conchas is not that hard to spell, and then second of all, nobody caught
the
it.
One that spelled
I know, I spelt it too, and I was like, how can I fuck this up? And my unconscious brain was like, I know exactly how. And then none of you guys catched it, which is really funny. And then the teacher said it, and we had to present ourselves as Los Chonchas every time we got up to do something.
Oh wait, okay. So that was the first story.
Uh-huh.
I want to share one because it involves you directly, bitch.
Uh-huh.
Because if it wasn't for you, this would have never fucking happened.
Uh-huh.
So it's funny because I'm pretty sure the homies know about this story as well, but it's mainly been a story between me and you for fucking years, and this is the first time we're gonna share it publicly. And because it's funny because since it's a story that's only been between me and you, I've never thought about having to present it to an audience.
I actually don't know what
you'll find out very quickly. But so I decided that I wanted to give the story a title, and the only title that really comes to mind that pertains to this story, and you're gonna know exactly what story I'm fucking talking about when I say the title. But I'm just gonna title this story "A Case of Severe Mistaken Identity."
Oh my fucking god!
So
the homies know about this.
Yeah,
we make fun of you.
So, anyways, I was this freshman or sophomore year.
It had to be like either sophomore, or junior year, because it was in the computer lab all the time. Like
I don't think it could have been junior year. I think that's a little too far. I think it happened early.
No, it had to be somewhere between junior, because like I was just started rapping at that time, so I was in the booth literally in the school booth making my raps, doing when this happened.
Okay, yeah, that's what happened. So we had a classroom in there. It was the video production class, and it had a shit ton of computers you could do stuff on.
Shout out to Jimenez, by the way, for the teacher's name is Jimenez, for letting me do all that, by the way, to let me make my raps in that booth. He didn't have to do that. That was good. Okay, go on.
And so I was it was during lunch. Me and you were chilling in there, and you wanted to do some recording, like you said. Yeah. But I don't know where I was at the time, but I wasn't near you, and I don't think I was even aware of the booth at that time.
Yeah.
So when I finally turned around and I tried to look for you, I didn't fucking see you anywhere. So I was like, where the fuck is Mike? And so I'm going around, and I finally get to the side of the room where they have all the computers.
Uh-huh.
And also, for those of you who don't know, you have long hair now, but back then you had even fucking longer hair.
No, I had crazy. I wouldn't say it's longer. It was just more distinct, especially in swim. I had like natural highlights, but like I did have like it was like around like right here. It was like this. So it was long. It was the hair I have right now is like the longest it's ever been. But like I still had long hair even at that time. Like I was always had like long hair.
And so I'm just looking, and I see somebody sitting at a computer, and they have long hair that look like yours. And so, here's the thing, because and here's the thing. To my defense, since I sincerely thought it was you, I wanted to come up to you, and I was fucking like, playfully, I would be like, fucking like, hey, fool, like, where the fuck were, like, I didn't fucking, I went like, I literally just went like that, like a little nudge and shove.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, fool, like, where the fuck were you at? And
you look at the person.
so the person turns around.
It's like,
and not only is it not Mike, but it's a girl.
It's a
and
female.
then, that's already bad enough, right?
Yeah, it was
but then I had to somehow find a way to make
you had to clarify your
work.
fuck up to this person.
I literally said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were my friend Mike."
He was like, "Oh, sorry, I thought you were a different person."
No, not only a different person.
But you said my name.
But not only a different person. I told this girl, like, "Oh, sorry, I thought you were my dude friend."
My dude, I thought whose name is Michael. Gross. And then I walked out the booth. I'm like, "Hey, where'd you go?" And you're like, "Bro."
And so that was really. I'm really sorry to that girl. I apologize sincerely.
Oh man,
but
that's so. I was dying when you told me that. I was fucking.
That was a situation that went from bad to fucking worse.
Real quick, like you just had to be a dick for no reason other than
it was unintentional too. That shit just came out for some reason.
Like that was like, man.
And, okay, This is one that is. It's fucking funny to me, and I think it'll be the last one I share for now because of time.
Yeah.
But there was an instance where, for that very same video production class, and this was freshman year, because
it was his freshman year.
Yeah,
I was in it at a different time.
Because that's when I. Wait, really?
Yeah, we were never in the same video production class.
Oh yeah, no, I thought you meant the fucking year.
Yeah.
Like, we were in the same fucking... No, so, I was in video production that year as one of my electives, and I remember at the time, that particular day, the class that I had before lunch, because the video production class I had right after lunch, and my math class I had right before lunch. And I remember that day in math class, we were taking a test, and I didn't get a chance to finish it. And so I asked the teacher that I had at the time if I could come back and finish the test after lunch. Mm-hmm. And he was like, yeah, no problem. So here's where I messed up. Mm-hmm. So after lunch, I didn't want to walk all the way up the stairs and go to the video production class just to tell the teacher that I wasn't going to go.
Yeah.
So I saw one of the kids that was in that class with me. And I was like, hey, man, can you do me a favor? Can you tell the teacher that I'm going to be taking a test somewhere? Like, I'm not going in. And
yeah, you told someone else to.
Yeah, and so he was like, yeah, man, for sure, I got you. And so.
The motherfuckers never do. They never got you.
No, but here's the thing. I'm wondering if they actually did or they never didn't, because I'm assuming if the kid hadn't actually said anything, I would assume that the teacher at the time, Mr. Lobato, who was the video production teacher.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that he would have just thought that I was absent that day.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming the kid told him something, because if not, then why the fuck would he send someone out to look for me? But anyways, so I go, and instead of going to the video production class, I go to my math class and I take the test.
Yeah.
And as I finish the test, I'm walking back towards the video production class.
Yeah.
And halfway, I get stopped by school security, and he was talking to a teacher, and he sees me and he's like, "Are you Raul?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Oh, I was looking for you." And I was like, "Huh?" And he's like, "Yeah, like the teacher called it in that you had ditched or something." Like, what the fuck, ditched? I was right here. and so he's like, "Oh, well, you have to go back to class." I'm like, all right. And so he let me go back to class, luckily. Mm-hmm. But it's funny because as I'm walking away, I hear him talk to that same teacher, and he's like, "Ha!" He's like, "Ha! These freshmen, man, already trying to play the game."
Oh,
And I was fucking trying to take a math test. I wasn't fucking
trying to
I
play
wasn't,
smuggling crack to
yeah.
school.
I wasn't fucking smoking weed in the bathroom, dude.
Some motherfuckers used to do that.
Yeah.
But that's just. I'll tell this story real quick about. Speaking of weed smoking in the bathroom, one time in sophomore year is it's not for a year. It was just like I had to pee really bad, but that during that one of the breaks before lunch, I think in the morning, the bathroom smelled like fucking. Most of the bathrooms smelled like really fucking dank, and I was like, oh my god. But like by the time lunch came around, all the bathrooms were locked. So like where we used to hang out at where it was locked, and the other places near us where we used to hang out that at a certain place was locked. And I was like, fuck, I need a pee. So I'm running around with my fucking bladder all full, just running around the school looking for a fucking bathroom to fucking pee in. And I'm like, fuck, I legit almost pissed my pants. And then I get to class, like, and I'm telling my friend, and I'm like, yeah, I fucking had to run all the fuck around the school just to fucking try not to piss my pants. And I look at him, he's fucking eyes of bloodshot fucking red. Fucking and I'm just like, and I looked at him all mad. I looked at him. I know. I looked at him. He was like, "Did you smoke in the bathroom this morning? By any chance?" He was like, "We were smoking in all the bathrooms that morning." And I'm like, "Why'd you just?" I needed a piss. I almost pissed my fucking pants because of you. Fuck you.
Hey, now that you remind me, remember that fucking time where they literally closed the bathroom that was on the upper part of the school because people kept smoking in it?
Yeah, just like kept smoke. People just kept smoking. I mean, honestly, like I didn't smoke at all. I was actually pretty strict on like not smoking. I'm like, I'm not smoking this. Only losers smoke this. And then like I smoked it and I was like, oh, this is good shit. And then I became a stoner when the pandemic hit. So, you know, my arc of weed has been a wild one for sure. I was very conservative on that. But yeah, so I almost pissed my pants.
But those are just a few. Maybe we'll do a part 2 to this at some other point.
Yeah.
Because we have way more stories that we can share.
Yeah.
But so those are just a few stories from our high school years. And so now to wrap it up, we're going to get into our picks of the day.
Yes.
So do you want to go first?
I'll go first. I was talking to you about this album earlier. It's recently released. It's from one of my favorite rappers in the game right now. Boldy James' new album that he did with producer Nicholas Craven called Penalty of Leadership. And that's some hard fucking shit right there. Every song is beautifully produced, and Boldy James just kills every one of these fucking beats. Very like gritty. It's also very emotional because he talks about the car crash he was in recently.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so like there's tons of self-reflective songs, which is very, and Boldy James has always been introspective in that grimy, gritty way, but this one he sounds like more emotional about it, and it's fucking, but it's still hard as fuck, and every line is a banger. So I recommend that. Penalty of Leadership, Boldy James, Nicholas Craven, banger album.
All right, and then so for my pick of the day, I'm gonna go with an artist that I've actually known about for a while, and I had no idea. But the crazy part of this artist's trajectory is that he actually started out as a rapper, but he slowly kind of evolved into doing country music. And which is actually really fitting for him because he has a fucking phenomenal voice. And this, honestly, I would recommend this whole album as well, but I'm going to talk about one track specifically. But it's from his most recent album that he dropped in last year. Now, I'm probably going to butcher this first part of it, but I think it's Whitset Chapel.
Yeah.
And it's by the artist Jelly Roll. Super dope artist. I really enjoyed this album, but the track that I want to talk about specifically is called She. And now I don't know if there's a backstory to this track. I'm assuming there is, but just going off of the lyrics that he sings in that song, it's kind of a depressing song because it's essentially him describing a girl that was really popular that maybe he knew, that unfortunately got addicted to some sort of substance, and it's essentially a song talking about how she went from being this girl that everybody wanted to know that like now nobody knows where she's at or anything. It's a really messed up song, but I really enjoyed it. So again, that's She from the artist Jelly Roll from his latest album, which is Witsit Chapel. So that's gonna be my pick of the day. And so
that's it.
So that's gonna do it for episode 8. We hope you guys enjoyed. As always, follow all the links down in the description of this video, and we will see you all in the next one.
Peace.